This is Vonda Evans, and it's been a while. I haven't been able to come on, but I'm here now, and just wanted to give you a little shout out and say what's going on and how you feeling. But let me just say this to you. You know, I got to get my stuff together because we getting everything going. But I wanted to talk to you briefly about going through the storms of life. Recently, I had an opportunity to read in the Bible about Job. And everybody knows Job's story. He was a righteous man, and the enemy wanted to test him, and God allowed it. He said, "You can do anything you want, but you can't take his life." So, he's lost his wealth, his health, his kids, we all know what all that, okay? And one of the things that he was just down about, and he sought the Lord. And he said, just like, this all happened to me. What's going on? What I do? And he said, "You speak words without wisdom." How many times have we found ourselves complaining about something in life, not really understanding why it happened, but just wanting it to stop? Let me tell you something. I have celebrated my birthday. I've lived long enough to see the guilty go free and the innocent be punished. I've seen wealthy people who don't believe in God prosper, and I've seen believers struggle their whole life. I've seen people who work out get cancer, and I've seen people that did drugs and alcohol live to be 70, 80 years old. And we want to know why. I mean, if you doing right, you living right, you trust in God. This is what his friends were saying. Like, is it, when they came to sit with him, you think it's because, you was dating, you was having sex when you wasn't married? You think maybe it was because, you used to be drinking all the time? You think if everybody want to find a reason to explain why God does what he does. He said, and you have words without wisdom. What he's saying is, look, you don't know my way. And we know the story that he gave them double. But what about those situations in which you can't get double? What about the situations where Job was a man? He could have other children. What about women whose children have been killed, murdered? They're over 40, 50 years old. They can't have no more kids. Husband's been taken away. They can't have any more. How do you give me double for my trouble? And I want to talk about it briefly because I know people get perplexed when you see this. In life, you got to realize every person is unique, like a snowflake. It'd be a whole bunch of them, but they all are unique. What God has called you to do is different from what he has called me to do. The things that you will endure are different than what I have to endure. Not because God didn't love us. No, clearly not. But because God is using us as an example. See, this is how we get life all messed up. And my bishop was talking about it tonight. Focus. We start getting distracted by, well, we went to high school together and they got a big house and I don't. We get distracted by the fact of she used drugs and she don't care about her kids and I can't even get pregnant. We get distracted by the world, by wealth, by fame, and we start being concerned about something that ain't got nothing to do with why we're here. As Christians, we have one responsibility, and that is to spread the word of God. That's it. You ain't got nothing else. It ain't about diamonds. It ain't about, clothes. Those are nice, but that's not what the essence of life is for a Christian. For a Christian, if you believe in God, it's to bring other people into that kingdom. That is your job. It ain't to be a lawyer, doctor, Indian. It's none of the above. And we get distracted. This distracts us all the time. This phone, ooh, boo, boo. TikTok, social media, relationships, it distracts us. And sometimes God got to pull us back in. He got to pull us back in and say, daughter, hey, hold on for a minute. You ain't on the right thing. It happened to me. You know, I'm on TV doing big cases after big cases. I wanted people to say my name. I'm all over the world. People at the airport saying me, seeing me, boom, boom, boom. I ain't think about no God stuff. Hey, I'm thinking about them big cases. God said, hold on. Listen, this about me. You losing focus of what this is about. This ain't about that. This about me. And see, let me tell you something. The way God gets your attention is when he empties you out to pour more in. He got to empty out that junk. You know, the fame and fortune, he got to empty that out. Ooh, I got to get rid of that. And I got to pour me into you. And what happens is the emptying part. When we look up and relationships end, when we look up and our children die, when we look up and we get illness in our body, we're perplexed because God is like, let me empty that out. Because see, before that happened, before your child wasn't here, before you didn't get that illness, before all of that, you wasn't thinking about no God. Come on. You was thinking about the next concert. You was thinking about who dating who. You wasn't worried about none of that. That didn't matter to you because you was on and happy about something else. And those are distractions. And distractions get us off our focus. Because at the end of the day, if we a believer, you know what the God gonna say? Boo, you had 50 years. Let me play back what you was doing. You was more worried about the club, getting your hair done, getting a man, what your children's doing. You weren't concerned about me. You pop in on church every now and then, give me a couple dollars, you know what I'm saying? But you wasn't trying to get with me. No. And you like, you know, I had a good heart. No, that ain't working with me, baby, because I did too much for you. And so when we going through situations, I'm going to tell you what you got to remember. You speak words without wisdom. You don't know what God is you doing. It's like somebody baking. If I mix flour and baking soda, my kids don't want to eat that. But I know that as a chef, I'm later going to add eggs. I'm going to add butter. I'm going to add vanilla and I'm going to whip it all up. And they just going to want to eat it and say, I love the batter. But at that time, they don't know what I'm going to do extra. They only know what they see. And they know it's nasty. But when I finish doing what I'm doing, it tastes good then. And that's what God, he said, you speak words without wisdom. You don't know what I'm doing this for. But at the end of the day, you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Many of you watching on here, we in the fourth quarter. We ain't got worried about who dating who. We ain't got worried about what Puff Daddy doing. We ain't got worried about J-Lo. We ain't got worried about none of that. We need to be worrying about our own soul salvation. We ain't, well, my son and my daughter. Stop worrying about that. Because you're going to be accountable for you. And you got to start focusing and saying, God, what is it you want me to do? God don't care about no diamonds and nothing. He give it to you. That's junk to him. He wants you to stop always being consumed with it. How am I pay your bills? The same way you've been paying your bills. The same way you've been paying your car note. God gonna make a way. But we get so consumed about stuff that ain't got nothing to do. I look at my phone 8-10 hours on social media, on my phone. I'm embarrassed. God say, can I get, I look at the word of God, I get sleepy. I gotta lay down, get sleepy. But let all hell break down in my life, I'm running to him. But I tithed and I offered. And you also was on TikTok, Vonda. And you also was checking the Trump Harris poll. And you was doing everything but getting my word and hiding in your heart so that when a time such as this came, it would knock you off your square. But you when you in good time, you ain't got time for no God. I ain't got time for that. Baby. He's bringing us back to him. He's saying, I allowed you to be married. I allowed you to have a child. I allowed you to do everything. Now the focus is on me. Now the focus is on me, because let me tell you what God will give you double for. He may not give you no more children. He'll give you peace. He may not give you a husband. He'll give you wisdom. He will give you things that you took for granted, that you will discover and say, oh my Lord, I didn't know peace could feel this good. See, I'm thinking that, a man touching me or being with me feel good. Let me tell you, when you got peace, when you ain't arguing in your house, when you ain't got strife, when you ain't got to worry about who coming in, what they doing, who they with, that's peace. That's the peace that the Bible talks about, surpasses all understanding. That's peace, baby. And many of y'all didn't have it. I didn't get it till I was 50. And baby, let me tell you something. When I got a hold of it, it feels so good, I don't know what to tell you. That peace that surpasses all understanding. God will give you wisdom. Don't invest in that. Don't call her back. Leave this job. God will give you God will be giving you strategy. You be like, what's up next? What I do? Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. And people like, damn, how she keep dodging these landmines? How she keep dodging these bullets? Because God is giving you strategy. Because he's giving you wisdom. You got to take time and say, God, give me the things you want me to have. He don't care about wealth. That's nothing to him. He don't care about no diamonds. That's dumb. It's nothing. Okay? He's trying to give you something that can make your life better. Peace, prosperity, wisdom. When we start to focus on what God has for us, it surpasses what man can do for us or to us or with us. So when next time that you find yourself going through the storm, remember what God told Job. You speak words without wisdom. All I do now is say, God, I don't know why this happened, but if it's your will, help me through this. Help me through this pain. Help me through to get to the other side. Because one thing I know, and and let's go there. If you're going to walk on this side of Christianity, you're going to go through stuff. You're going to bury people. You're going to lose people. You're going to get sick. The Bible is replete with all people who, when they decided they want to be with Christ, they got the hell beat out of them. Some got killed, martyred, all of that. So this ain't no cakewalk up in here. This for the real soldiers. And what we need to do is stop blaming God and start to say, Lord, I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why. But if you can give me some understanding, if you can let me go to sleep at night, if you can let me stop thinking about this all the time, if you can give me some peace, Lord, I thank you, sir. And he'll do it for you. But you so caught up in what used to be, baby, that's over with. It's wrap. It's done. It's over. We're at the next step. One of the things that bring to my remembrance, follow along with this, is when Aaron was with Moses, Aaron's kids was cutting up. God dealt with them kids and told them, don't come out that tent. We got business to do. I can't go see about my kids. No. Because if you go out, you're going to get something. What we got to realize is that this war is real. It's good versus evil. And if you decide that you are going to be on the side for good and you're going to do right, you're going to go through hell and back. But what you got to do is say, Lord, if you don't tell me why, will you get me through it? And I guarantee you, he will. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to stop worrying about stuff that don't matter. Then worrying about what P. Diddy doing and the Harris Poles and Trump don't matter no more. Not when your house on fire. Not when your marriage is being destroyed. Not when your child is under siege. Not when your body is. You ain't got time to worry about that. Because that's the world's business. You got to be about God's business. You got to be able to say, God, what is it you want me to do today? And stop getting so caught up in stuff that whatever, everybody should vote. I support that. But at the end of the day, this time next week, we're going to have a president, maybe the one you voted for and not voted for, but it's going to be somebody going to be elected. That's what it is. And you can worry about it if you want to, but it ain't going to change the outcome. Stop worrying and ask God to use you. Say, Lord, use me to bring people to the kingdom, because the more good you pour in your life, the more that pours out that bad. Because all that good is coming through. All that word is coming through. All that word is coming through. And it's pushing out doubt. It's pushing out fear. It's pushing out sadness. Because you got all of that good stuff pouring into you. And when you start to do that, you'll start living different. And you'll start to understand that in life, we're going to go through these storms. But every storm you've been through, you survived. Maybe not the way you wanted to. Maybe it wasn't the outcome you wanted, but you got through it. And you're going to get through this. But you can't worry about it. You got to say, God, get me through it. Just give me some peace with this. And when you start to ask God for peace, when you start getting in his word, tearing it apart, eating it, like Jeremiah said, eating it, it was better than a honeycomb. When you start getting into it, it's like all of a sudden, the pain ain't what it used to be. And little by little, you begin to heal. And you keep going on. So remember, when you find yourself going through the storms of life, don't blame God. Don't be mad. Don't be talking about how I used to be. You got to trust God and know that God got your back like he always has. And even though things have worked out maybe the way that you didn't want, this is all about God's will. One of the things that I remember my father used to say, if it's God's will, it's going to happen. I was like, that's so cliche, but that's true. Because God's will is sovereign. Listen, I'm back. And I'll be jumping on some more. Be blessed. And I love you. And keep your head up.